All right. Call this regular city council meeting for November 20th, 2024 to order. Our first item is the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I'll take a roll call. Councilor Mix is excused. Councilor Strong. Councilor Sylvia. Yes, sir. Councilor Burns.
Here.
Council President Bush. Here. And I am here. We have 5. We have enough to do business. First item is a presentation from Library Director Baker.
Where's? Trying to log on right now. Oh.
In his absence.
Happy to if we can't tell his.
Okay.
Well, while we're waiting, I would just like to bring up to council, pointed out this request for council action. Due to my family emergency, I wasn't able to get this to Lisa in time to include in the packet, but I need council to approve an expenditure. So I'd like to ask that this be added to a decision item on the
You got
agenda.
it. Yeah, we kind of need those things.
Waiting.
But Harrison was Mr. Technology.
Usually is.
Technology is great when it works.
Yeah, I know.
That's funny. I say that all the time.
He really wanted to be here, but he is dealing with a foot that won't let him stand very long. So it's really hard for him to get around right now.
Really?
All my feel is pain.
Okay.
I felt it for a very long time. Hope his does not last.
So can we do public comments and then go back to here?
Well, I'm gonna give him another 30 seconds.
He's joining and us now.
All right.
He should be online now.
Harrison. Harrison?
Wherever you are.
Hello.
Hey, I
Yeah,
understand you have something for us.
yes, I do. I believe it's in the room with you right now.
It?
Wow.
We,
It?
she.
Oh, gosh, Harrison, we have to work on a few things.
Yes, we wanted to present Cindy Balek, our new assistant director. We are very, very happy to have her on the team. She has experience from public libraries, school libraries, and she has really hit the ground running. We've already got new programming on the way that we'll talk about a little bit later. We've got a cookbook club going. First meeting is coming up. We've got Holiday and D. We've got a lot planned and more to come. So I just wanted to invite you all to welcome her aboard. I'm sure you'll all be working with her in the future. And again, we're just really excited to have her on the team.
Outstanding.
That's nice.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Are you and Denise getting along okay?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Cut from the same cloth. Yeah.
Yay.
Okay, does that mean that we're all in trouble now? Because Denise already runs a lot of the shows around here.
I know. It's fun to have someone else who gets excited about things, so.
Welcome aboard.
Did I hear holiday D&D like Dungeons and Dragons?
Yes,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we're
You
doing
play?
this.
No, I've never played, but I know about it. I mean, like.
Yeah, so we're having a program. We are bringing in a,
Cindy. You go.
put you in the hot seat.
Yeah. First night, right up front.
it's okay. We have Holiday D&D is coming up. It's a program for anybody to come and learn or play with experienced players. It's holiday themed one-shot 5E campaign. And you don't know what that means, that's okay, you can still come.
You can still come and
Yeah.
play.
We have room for
Ages.
signups, any,
High school.
from high school and up. And we brought in a experienced dungeon master who's been running games for over 15 years and he's pretty excited. We're excited. Yeah,
Well, the mayor's excited.
I know. He was impressed that you signed up.
I am an old school geek. I've been playing since '76.
See,
So
you'll fit right in.
Wow. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
It's exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
great. We're excited to have you.
Unanimous.
And while we have Denise here too, I would just like to thank her for all of the work she did. She stepped up while we were shorthanded in our search for Cindy and worked full-time hours for quite a period of time. Did a lot of work for us. So thank you, Denise, for all that you do, continue to do, and for stepping up when we needed you. Oh, really appreciate it. Thank you. Yes.
Well, and if you haven't seen her and the stuff she does for the umbrella parade coming up, you have to go to the umbrella parade
Yes.
because it's amazing. And I'm hoping that we have weather like we had last year where it's just crisp and clear and not a lot of, shall we say, torrential downpours or anything like that.
No atmospheric rivers.
Yes, please. It was a hoot and I hope a lot more people come out like Jim Chambers does and decorates an umbrella and comes on out there.
Just come to watch.
Don't make me the oldest person in the parade, okay?
Sue's there.
No comment. All right. Next up, visitors' public comments. Is there anyone in the audience physically or online who would like to speak with council? Yes, sir.
Yes,
I hate to tell you this, but you got to state your name for the record.
My name's Jim Chambers. Still pronounce it too. I've been working, trying to get the, I guess the movement going again on Toledo swimming pool replacement and also the community center. And it seems like our efforts are dying off. I think it needs to be rejuvenated. We gotta, if we're gonna be doing this, we gotta come to some decisions. We've got to have this done fairly soon. As it is, you know, my goal would be to have an RFP out by at least so it can be opened in January.
Did we get the final, what we'd asked for from the architects?
What'd you ask for?
Well, remember, we had to have kind of the outline of what we're looking for that RFP. Did all that final paperwork?
Conceptual plans came through?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and we chose the one where the gym could be added on at a later date, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
What's our
With some minor.
Request for proposal.
part of the public contracting process?
And I love working with Mike. He's always been a good, jolly guy. Yeah. I know he's overloaded, but the thing is, you know, we got to come to a decision on how this relationship's gonna work between the Toledo and the pool, another agency. So it would be nice if it would move along a little bit smoother now. And
If I can interject, part of that's that relationship between the two entities is gonna be laid out in an IGA that needs to come before the council as the next step. The RFP, normally when we ask an engineer to do an RFP and they're doing, you know, they're construction companies doing an outside project, they do the entire RFP. They've sent a kind of bare bones Word document that has a whole bunch of blanks for us to write, to essentially write the RFP. So that's kind of where we are on the RFP.
And I did, Mr. Chambers came in and spoke to me yesterday afternoon, and I did tell him, unfortunately, Mike and I are so overloaded at this time. Staff does not have time to complete that right now, the state of the issues that we're dealing with. So we do need to look at possibly the pool district getting that completed, or the architect.
And would that be a council thing or you already think?
Trying to get it to move. I spent a lot of time yesterday and again today writing up an RFP. Doing a lot of thieving from other ones. Basically, we'll meet again as a part of the district to sit down and polish that up a little bit more than what it is now. There's a lot of questions, a lot of dates, a lot of meetings. There's a lot of stuff in there. And
Well, and you guys are on a timeline, so it has to get, we have to get that RFP out quickly.
So we need to set up a meeting for your meeting soon.
So Mike,
When we do the IGA, one question that needs to be answered is, we've got an IGA between the city and the URD, the urban district. And because the URD is so new and infancy and hasn't collected the
right,
tax into it, the tax increment. The city's gonna use its full faith and credit clause and borrow the amount of money, and the URD in the IGA that's been done is agreeing to pay back the money to the city. It is agreeing to guarantee that with URA funds, and that works up to the amount. There's about 3 different amounts listed in the URA plan that I think comes out to 2.8 or
3.5.
3 point something. We can do recreation without going back to the other taxing districts and changing the URA plan. But what we need to do in the IGA between the city and the pool district, one thing is, because we own the ground and it's the pool that they're building, are we both jointly going out for the RFP? Are they just going out for the RFP and are gonna manage the project? And we need.
I would recommend, I don't believe that the city staff has time to manage that.
We weren't going to.
No.
Okay. The point of it was that it was going to be a joint RFP, correct? Okay, because of the amount of money involved between the two entities. And we were going to hire someone to manage the RFP between the two entities, because neither one of our two entities has the in-house time or expertise, other than Jim might be the only one that has any of that expertise to do that. And Jim, I don't think I ever heard you say, I'll do it.
I don't usually say that. But
Being here, maybe you volunteer.
the thing about.
No, he'd have to check with Kay first.
The thing you got to remember is that this is a CMGC contract, which is you're hiring and paying for a person to manage this construction,
Exactly.
the whole thing, and he's supposed to be working for you.
Right.
That's usually.
Well, us,
Both of us.
both of us, right.
And that I did draft that joint resolution to allow us to do the CMGC process.
Right.
You have to make a bunch of findings, and
Correct.
did that as a joint resolution and sent it to them. Which I'm not sure where they are in approving that, the pool district, but we need to bring that in, approve that
Okay.
with us.
Well, then,
If that is the intent that both of us are participating in RFP.
So
That's what I thought.
yeah, step one, shouldn't that be the Intergovernment agreement?
No, step one's probably I don't know that it's step one, but the resolution for the CMGC project definitely has to happen before the RFP goes out.
Yes.
Before, seems like you wanted it in January. Well, that seems like it's kind of out of the question. If we're gonna get this all done, since we're gonna,
No, I don't necessarily think that's out of the question.
So do we have to do do the resolution and the IGA have to be done at different meetings, or can they be done at the same meeting?
They can be done in the same meeting.
So if we were to get the the resolution and the IGA done by the 18th of December, could we go out in the 1st of January with the RFP?
Be out on the 18th of January if you passed it. I mean,
No,
or
December.
18th December.
Okay,
But
that's my
the whole
question.
thing is, you usually give a firm that's looking into this possibly up to 30 days, 5 weeks sometimes, to come back to a proposal to you. And then once that proposal's here, they present it to you and answer some questions and everything else. And then there's a committee that's sitting on there.
I guess what I'm trying to get at, Jim, is if we can get all the paperwork done between the two entities by the 18th, is that too late, or are we still looking at a good timeline?
Let me give you a kind of an idea of what that timeline is, I guess. First of all, it would take probably at least a week to advertise that you're looking for proposals and that there's a due date.
Okay.
Then you'd have probably 3 days at least for a committee to look through it and decide who they're going to interview. Then you bring those interview people back to set through another process. And then when you're done there, you negotiate, you know, what's the fees are going to be and everything else to that nature. So there's quite a process. And then usually at that point, after you've chosen a firm to do this, then a city would have to vote on it, district would have to vote on it. This is the firm we want.
Yeah,
So
so in other words,
if we approve the IGA on the 18th, they could go out.
Are you going to have time to prepare it by then
yeah, I mean, that seems like.
with what we have going on? That's my concern.
Yeah,
well, it's my concern that they lose their money
I know.
and then everything goes down the toilet.
to give you a point on that, your architect has done conceptual drawings.
Right.
So whether we're out on bid or not, we're probably going to give him the okay or approval to start proceeding on the rest of it. Which is every little system has to be designed. And then when your CMGC comes on board, they sit down and look at how they're going to save money. And usually you probably won't even get a guaranteed maximum amount of money of what this project would cost until probably into the construction phase. So there's a little bit of gamble there, but the other thing is the architects are probably going to take the minimum of 3 or 4 more months. So if they get everything done and we tell them to start now, we're 2 months ahead maybe of when this might
We
be.
can't tell them to go until we have the IGA in place.
Oh, you can't, but I can.
Okay, Kim, you can't complete your project without our money.
It's recognized.
So no offense, but you're willing to say that we'll just give you the money anyway?
No,
Well, that's
because
why we gotta have the IGA.
it's still the fact that the money has to be spent before April of 20.
I understand that. Well, it's gotta be, the work has to be started, correct?
I don't know that. I still debate on whether that is true or whether the project's supposed to be completed.
Well, I doubt it has to be complete.
No, it doesn't have to be completed, but you gotta spend their money.
But we need to know, that's a big difference. We need to
Yeah.
know. I think we need to have we need to schedule a URA meeting.
Well, I think we also, and I'll do this, I'm gonna get a hold of Representative Gomberg and find out what our deadline is on this. Whether it's project started or money spent. Because that's a huge difference.
It is. Yeah. Or you're talking to him asking for more money.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Never hurts.
I feel fortunate for what we got. But anyway, I don't mean to take up too much time. I just want to try to get this out where we can sit and talk about it and get it going and not, I mean, our joint committees have kind of dropped off.
It sounds like
Yeah.
it's been kind of just on level and there's a lot of things that should have been done.
Everybody's busy. Everybody's busy.
Well, busy or not, that's what, $3.5 million.
I don't know whether it's 3.5 or 3.
I think your part is 3.5 and ours is 3.5, and hopefully we're gonna get some more out of the tribe, hopefully, but.
But the
Anyway.
part you want to do first is the fixing of the pool.
But see, Stu, the problem is that they're 3.5, they need 5 to redo the pool.
Yeah.
They're short.
But that's what I mean. The first part of the project is the pool.
Right.
Right.
Yes. Already been spoken and pretty much in committee talked about, and I think that's a given.
All right, Jim, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else would like to address council? Anyone online?
If there's anyone online who would like to speak to the council, please raise your hand electronically and you will be recognized. No hands raised.
All right. Move on. Next item is consent agenda. Would entertain a motion.
I'm not there either. Not ready.
I would move that the minutes from held May 1st, 2024, May 15th, 2024, September 17th, 2024, and the executive session held September 17th, 2024 be allowed. Approved or allowed?
Approved. All right, it's been moved by Stu, seconded by Frank. To approve the consent agenda, which includes the minutes from the meetings held May 1st, 2024, May 15th, 2024, and September 17th, 2024, and the executive session held September 17th, 2024. I will take a roll call vote. I'm going to start with Councilor Kaufman, noting that she has arrived.
Hi, Anthony. Yes. We're glad you're here.
Councilor Burns,
Yes.
Council President Bush,
Yes.
Councilor Sylvia.
Yes, sir.
Councilor Strong.
Yes.
And I vote yes, motion carries 6-0. Now on to discussion items. Lisa, 2025 master meeting calendar.
Mayor, council, in your packet is the calendar for next year. I wanted to bring it forward just because of some of the holidays that are occurring next year. As you can tell, January 1, that meeting date is New Year's Day. I would like to propose to the council that we possibly move it to either Tuesday, the 7th or Thursday, the 9th. Given that that's a holiday week, I imagine that some people are going to be out of town or just unavailable. And so I'd like to move it to the following week.
I've got no issues with that.
I would recommend the 9th.
The 9th, okay. And then in earlier this year in July, we had a city council meeting planned, but due to its proximity to the 4th of July, the council canceled it. And so next year it's about the same proximity, and I wasn't sure if the council wanted to make that determination now or just we can make that determine later as we get closer to the holiday.
I would wait till we get a little closer to see what everybody's up to.
Okay.
I know a lot of us weren't gonna be in town this last 4th of July weekend, so that was one of the reasons.
Okay, and then I'll probably bring this back in December, with additional dates for budget committee. It was kind of nice to actually have that planned in there.
Yes, it was.
But I just wanted to give this to you just to look at and in case anyone had any questions or comments for next year. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, we have one item added to discussion items, and I will let Counselor Burns speak on this. She's asked about bonuses for the police department.
I have. And so I just wanted to say that when we were going through the budget or, whatever you call it, I remember when we were in consideration of the pay scale, that when we voted on it as a council, I believe that we took the low end, correct me if I'm not correct about this, that there was a scale and we took the low end. And so in consideration of what we're up against as a city with trying to hold on to good people who come in, get trained and leave, or that I don't know that we can necessarily change that at this point. But I would like to propose perhaps a bonus, if that's doable. And maybe you can add something to that, because I'm not saying let's throw the baby out with the bathwater, but I think we need, especially after we had met with our dispatchers and how horrible it is, and knowing that our police officers are right up there with that, overworked, underpaid, and especially with our chief, who is salary, who probably with all, I would only guess, chief, that if we divided your salary to the number of hours, it probably would be pretty puny. And so I just want to make sure that we can take care of them because we can, and not because, that's enough. I guess I don't need to say anything else, but I would really like some heartfelt consideration for our police department to do what we can as a council to make sure that they're taken care of.
And I can add, I know we still plan to do a salary survey. I need to review job descriptions, also do a salary survey for all employees. And so we will look at that and incorporate increasing salaries into the next fiscal year budget. If council does desire to do something for the police department at this time, an option would be a one-time bonus if we have room in the budget. And I would say, given the staffing levels, we have many positions unfilled at this time. I think we can do something. I don't have hard numbers right now, but that's something we can consider if there is an interest.
So you could look at that and then maybe come back on December 3rd meeting?
December 4th.
Or, yeah.
You have your surgery date just stuck in your head, don't you?
Right there. I'm having surgery on the 3rd, so.
I will say we've budgeted for quite a few more positions than we actually have filled at this time. So that does what we have to adhere to what the budget has been adopted. And we incorporate the max staffing into our planning for our budget for benefits and salaries. And we are very low staff at this point. So we are under that threshold.
Okay, so let me see if this recommendation works for everyone. Have Amanda come back to us with how we are budgetarily, okay? We all need to come with an idea of how you want to do this.
What do
Okay,
you mean?
nuts and bolts, like how many dollars for what positions and so on, okay? So that we're not discussing nebulous ideas at that point. If the money's there, we're discussing hard numbers.
Can we get the numbers before?
It'd be out of line if you two work together on that, since you're kind of brought it up.
Yeah,
I'm happy to do
Okay.
whatever
All
is
right.
is needed.
We can look at the numbers and we can come with a proposal.
Okay.
And present.
Sounds good.
Good with everyone?
I have to recuse myself, so.
I know.
Do you have to recuse? It doesn't affect you though, right?
It doesn't affect me, but it affects me. So,
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
What do you mean by that?
my son is in the department.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Her husband, my kid. So
Okay.
I have to declare a potential conflict of interest.
Right, definitely.
And you have a absolute, yeah, you have a certain conflict of interest. All right, so let's plan on doing that. So Jackie?
Yeah.
All right. All right, next items, decision items. First up, consideration to fill the positions of municipal maintenance worker 2 and equipment maintenance mechanic. Go ahead, Amanda.
As we've discussed in previous meetings, as I'm acting in an interim capacity as city manager, normally we'd be able to just hire these positions business as usual. But given the situation, I have to get council approval. So, Public Works Director Lorimer has been interviewing, applicants to fill our open positions in Public Works. We have both maintenance 2 positions and an equipment mechanic who he has made tentative offers to pending council approval.
Any questions?
Are there any questions about that?
I'm sorry, what's the stall on this?
We have to-
Because it's the interim, we have
Oh,
to
we
give
have
her
to
the
stay-
charter.
Yeah,
She's in.
Sorry.
normally I would
Normally,
have to.
we don't get involved, but because she's
Okay,
interim,
okay.
we have to be involved.
Thank you, sorry.
Not a problem.
Any other questions? I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion to authorize the city manager pro tem to hire 2 selected candidates for the municipal maintenance worker 2 positions and 1 candidate for the equipment maintenance mechanic position.
I second it.
Been moved by Frank, seconded by Kim to authorize the city manager pro tem to hire 2 selected candidates for the municipal maintenance worker 2 positions and 1 candidate for the equipment maintenance mechanic position. I will take a roll call vote. Counselor Kaufman,
Yes.
Counselor Strong,
Yes.
Counselor Burns,
Yes.
Council President Bush,
Yes.
Counselor Sylvia,
Oh, heck yes.
and I vote a hearty yes. Go forth and conquer.
Guessing you're working
Yes,
hand in hand or?
yes, he's been interviewing, yeah.
All right, we have an item that's been added due to its time constraints, and that is consider an expense of $35,000 to repair a fire department vehicle. And I will let interim Chief Harris take the stand and give us the skinny on this.
Thank you, sir. So one of our engines, engine 41. Yeah, so it's not exactly sure how it happened, but the gearbox on the pump itself was damaged. We took it to Benton County. We've started taking our rigs the last month or so to start getting the NFPA inspections done, which is an annual requirement. They were being taken before to Newport, but they're not qualified to do the NFPA inspection. Now, I'm not sure if they were in the past, but now they are not. So Benton County was the closest one. That's where Depot Bay and Newport takes theirs. When they were doing this inspection, they found that the gearbox on the pump was damaged. The problem with that is the engine itself and the pump is a prototype base model that the city purchased. I don't know the exact purchase date, but when the city purchased, there was a model. So there's none other like it. So, and the manufacturer of the pump, who was local at the time, is not local anymore. Benton County shops were able to get a hold of them and come up with a game plan to get the parts to make a new gearbox for that engine. And due to that, the lead time is 10 to 14 weeks. They're hoping on the lower end. And then the funding for it could be up to $35,000, but hopefully on the lower end. But with there's questions with how much time it's gonna take to take the pump apart to truly get in there to gain access to all of it. So that's why I'm requesting approval for the increased funding to be able to get that fixed.
Is that the one you took when you went, wildland fire?
They have taken that, so last year we took some of the smaller, the type sixes. This is our wildland interface engine. So, and it has a lot of life left in her. She's a great truck. And she's done outstanding jobs on other fires. She's been to California, on a couple of fires there. So.
It's needed.
As I understand this, with Newport, the new Newport mechanic is not certified to do those inspections, but the old one was.
I'm not sure if they were or not.
That's what I heard, so,
Yeah, and which it's,
the changeover is what caused the issue.
so Benton County is our closest one, and they're working hand in hand with us trying to get this one, and we're gonna get our other rigs over to get NFPA inspected. So everything's up to par. So the city won't have a liability over their head, if something happens. We can say that all of our rigs are NFPA inspected, which will help.
Any other questions, council? Well, I'd entertain a motion.
Motion to approve an expenditure up to $35,000 to repair engine 41.
I second.
Been moved by Stu, seconded by Kim to approve an expenditure of up to $65,000 to repair engine 41. I will take a roll call vote. Counselor Kaufman,
Yes.
Counselor Sylvia,
Oh, yes.
Counselor Burns.
Yes.
Council President Bush,
Yes.
Counselor Strong.
Yes.
And I vote yes, motion carries 6-0. Go get that thing fixed.
Thank you.
Stripped, fixed, put back together and get it back on the road.
Everybody has 30-day warranty.
It better be more than 30. If you take care of them, they can last quite a long time.
It's amazing.
But the problem is like in this case, right? Technology has moved far enough beyond that now trying to retrofit is where exactly.
Oh, gotcha.
And it's same thing in law enforcement, same thing in,
But the old truck works better than the
maintenance,
new one.
Yeah, it's,
It's crazy.
well, it's, how do I say this? It's planned obsolescence. It's like why I can still be using my dad's 1972 freezer and it's working great. But I've gone through 3 fridges in 15 years here.
Exactly, I hear you.
Yeah. All right, next item. Reports and comments. Lisa.
The only thing I have tonight, Mayor, is that the League of Oregon Cities is hosting an elected essentials training in Newport on December 3rd. And you all are signed up for it. And
It's all day. It's from 8:15 to 5 p.m.
Yep, and I know I'll be able to make most of it.
yes, and I'll provide future updates in another meeting or memo.
Is that what this is?
Yeah, and it's at the rec center.
My calendar notified me that I have a conflict. I have an all-day thing scheduled at the rec center for.
So what does that mean, elected essentials?
It
Some
means all
really
those
good
wonderful
stuff to
things that
know.
you need to know when it comes to being an elected official in the state of Oregon.
Oh, I'd be.
It's basically a one.
You can get yourself in trouble, not knowing
you out of
stuff.
trouble.
It's to keep you out of trouble.
Okay.
Counselor Burns, it's basically a city council member 101, if you will. And they happen following every election. And actually with Council-elect Andrew Keating, I've already notified him because LOC has provided this year a means to actually have council-elect members to participate. So,
Nice.
Yes.
I
Yes.
did Essentials for Dummies. I'll be there. Very simple, everybody.
I still learn stuff from it. I mean,
Yes.
we all learn from it.
Public Works Director Lorimer, would you please enlighten us on the latest in your wonderful department?
Council, Mayor. Good to see you guys. Just kind of an update of what's been going on. In efforts led by our our Parks Department, Brent Butler. Angel Job Corps from Yachats has been assisting in the beautification and the restoration of the Lions Park area on Southeast Sturdivant and Southeast River Road. They've they've done a lot of clearing, limbing. They made a incline path out of pavers and gravel up a mountainside.
Excellent.
And this has been under the direction of Bryce and Joel from Angel Job Corps and their urban forestry and masonry departments. And they've also confirmed that they would like to participate in future efforts in restoration of parks and projects that city has.
They know what that
I was
means
gonna say,
around
that's
here.
where you get sucked in.
We're thankful for their help, very, very grateful and looking forward to collaboration in the future.
Good.
Our department's been busy keeping storm drains and grates clear or attempting to. We did confined space training with a RIT safety yesterday. That went well. Next week, it's a shortened week, but we're doing large meter testing. The sidewalk repairs and the approach out in front of council chambers will be getting done. Basically, the sidewalk has been altered by the root system and trees right out here. So that problematic area is getting tore out and redone, and so is the approach in front of the council chambers parking area. The date still to be determined. We're looking to fill the 2 maintenance 2 positions and mechanic position in attempts to get fully staffed. So thank you very much for that approval. I'm currently enrolled in Leadership Lincoln. It was recommended by Mr. Wiggins and supported by interim manager Carrie to continue on with it. And it's been great, learning different personality traits, leadership styles. It's kind of an eye opener. It's been really nice. Today's meeting was actually at the Hatfield Marine Science Center. And if you guys have not been there, you're not familiar with it, they have a state-of-the-art building that is tsunami proof.
So cool.
With the capabilities of providing food and water to 1,000 people at their elevated level. I think it's about 52 feet in the air. Yeah, pretty
For a few
neat.
weeks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
I highly recommend going and checking it out.
Okay.
Also, we've got going on, Mr. Adamson working on an agreement with Georgia Pacific. They've agreed to contribute $45,000 over 3 years to the maintenance of the roadway on Butler Bridge Road. Once that's settled, about 27,865 square feet, basically Georgia Pacific's main gate to almost the turnoff and intersection of Southeast East Slope Road will be ground down 3 inches and then also a 3-inch overlay. We're also in correspondence with GP trying to get granted an easement to utilize their property along the railroad so we can work on a looping project to increase the flow and the effectiveness for if we ever expand on housing. And it's also, it's a bump for safety too, for the flow for the fire hydrants. We're just waiting on some, the yay or the nay so we can follow through and try to get the planning going and getting that ball rolling and get it executed.
Good.
And other than that, I'm sure there's a million other things I'm missing, but it's what I can think of. So my apologies.
Council, did you have any questions?
I have a question.
Go ahead. Go ahead, I got you off last time.
No, does yours relate to what he said? Because mine's like out of left field.
Kind of.
So top comfort.
Speaking of GP, I brought this up to Amanda earlier when I showed up. They've got 2 lovely gates that they just put in by gate 3. Maybe you can request Andrea not allow trucks out of there until they're completely covered. Trucks can't get in and out of those gates until security opens them.
Oh, you're talking about the chip trucks?
So it'll prevent our or our street sweeper from getting ruined with them damn chips.
Seems like a simple ask.
I mean, it's easy to cover their trucks. Just get them to do it.
Noted.
That's it.
So I just was thinking and noticing outside my house, the PUD replaced the poles last year, but they never cut the old ones down. I'm just curious. They seemed hot to trot to put up all those new poles and then, and I was told at the time it was for handicap accessibility because they were in the middle of the sidewalk. I don't know if that's true or not. So thinking about that, I have a crosswalk right at my property that goes to a Lala Center. Like out of the whole entire town, I would think that handicap access to the Lala Center would be pretty important. And a lot of moms walking on the street with their babies and the curbs aren't cut out for the crosswalk. So anybody that's pushing a stroller that's in a wheelchair has to hike a curb. So I was just wondering, like, is that on anyone's radar to fix the curb cutouts?
Well, remember, one thing you've got to
Poles.
understand is that the sidewalks in front of your house, you're in charge of the maintenance. and
I
such
didn't mean
with it.
sidewalk, I mean crosswalk, sorry.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, that,
But the sidewalk is, so is it my job to cut out the sidewalk for the crosswalk?
no,
Like,
as
that
I
should've been
understand it,
worded that
there's
way.
grants for that, correct?
We have some safe routes to school type grants. I
Right.
think we can look into them. I think there's some funding still.
For that type of schooling
Yeah.
area, there's grants to have that done.
Yeah, so it just got me thinking
Because
that
normally,
it'd be
when-
nice to have a cutout there, so
Yeah.
people could.
so normally when somebody puts in a new house and they put in a new sidewalk,
They did
then
that.
they put all that in as part of that, so.
And just in case y'all didn't know, I think Amanda made the changes or had them made on our website. There's actually a suggestion form.
Yes,
Public
yes.
Presented that.
And I'm
I
supposed to
recommend
be
anybody
telling people
listening or
about
anybody in the
that, so.
audience that has
Yeah.
recommendations or stuff like that, they go online
Yeah.
and submit it through that
Yeah.
that avenue.
Yeah, I can put it on there.
Okay.
I have a question. So, the welcome to Toledo, when you come in from Newport, it's kind of tucked down. It's not real visible, but when you get to just before you turn by the Dairy Queen, there's two other big poles where banners are hung. So whose poles are those?
City of Toledo's.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where we put up the event signage and that type of thing
Okay,
on those two by
Because the
Dairy
pit
Queen.
parade got tucked down in the little gully.
Well, and it's supposed to be lit. And
What's
I'm,
lit?
lights
down.
lit up, the welcome to Toledo
Oh,
sign,
it's supposed
it's supposed to be lit up. Now, I don't know if power's gone out, light bulb's gone out, what.
That I haven't paid attention. I can go check on it. There is an exterior light that shines or is supposed to shine.
So, yeah, supposed to
Signage.
shine.
And
And
I made a.
in
comment.
winter, it's pretty, how do I say this? It's pretty evident it's lit because you can see it at 5 o'clock at night.
to.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
If
it's
it's
just the
working.
one by Dairy Queen is like, ta-da, and the other one is underwhelming.
And maybe we can put a stronger bulb in, like get some LED bulbs, something,
Okay, that's all.
but.
And be careful going to that one. If you do, there's a giant hole deep enough to bury somebody right.
There's some oddities take place there. I'm very well aware.
Yeah, yeah, it needs to be filled in. Because I measured the poles for Summerfest when they wanted their banners. And I mean, it's a it's like a cave. I don't know if somebody used, I don't know. Anyway, it needs to be filled in. It's scary.
So I have a question. Where are we at with either the railroad or boring to get the project for Olala Meadows started?
That would be on GP's approval to use their property as an easement.
That's the easement, the redundancy.
That's the easement.
So we don't have to go with the railroad now.
That in hopes that Georgia Pacific would grant us an easement, we would not have to utilize the Union Pacific Railroad.
I will make a phone call tomorrow.
Please and thank you.
Thank you. No, thank you. You're making my day.
Makes life easier.
So waiting on the set approval, we have to do some testing.
Right.
Take sampling,
get an idea of what's gonna take some delineation, permitting all the above. But I don't want to put the cart in front of the horse.
Right.
So
No,
that's
thank you, thank you, though. That's taking railroad out of the equation, they just made my day. Thank you. Anything else for Public Works Director?
Nope.
All right,
Good job.
Ryan, you gotta come
Thank
back
you.
up. You're here, you gotta take the stage.
I don't have much, but I did write some notes just to kind of give you guys some numbers of what we've been doing. For our call response, for the fire department in October, we had 90 calls, 90 emergency calls. So far for November, including the fire from this morning in Newport, we're up to 61 calls. So we're on that uptake, and especially this time of the year, we're getting those storm related calls. We're doing really well with our volunteer response on average. For the last couple months, we've had 3 people per call, which is fantastic. Training, we've had an increase in attendance. On average, we're having about 15 people to our drills, our Monday night drills, which is an uptake. On the 9th of this month, we graduated 10 students out of the Fire One Academy that Toledo hosted. We had, it was representatives from North Lincoln, Toledo Fire Department, Newport Fire Department, and Siletz Fire Department. And 4 of those graduates were from Toledo.
Yay.
We're starting to schedule our next EMR, emergency medical responder course, that's coming up in February of 2025. So we'll be able to get those new Fire One students that graduated their next level, to where they're able to go on all of our calls and be qualified. Like I said, we've had an increase of volunteers around the station, doing projects, so it's been phenomenal. For the equipment and apparatus, we've completed all of the annual hose testing for the fire department. That's all the fire hose from all the engines and all of our spare hose. It was an eye opener because a good amount of our hose did not pass. So get it all tested. So we know kind of where we stand. We're receiving, coming up, we're receiving a grant from GP that's going to help provide, purchase some of that hose that failed. So we'll be able to start regaining that progress. On top of that, ladder testing, all of our ground ladders, they've never been tested from anybody's understanding at the fire department, you know, dating back the folks that have been there. And that's an annual requirement. So we were able to get that done as well this last month.
How were they?
Say again.
How were they?
All of them passed.
Good.
Every single one of them passed.
I know, you were waiting for
I know, I
the
was
shoe to
waiting for
hit
you
the
to-
floor here.
No, we were worried about that because
They've never been tested.
they've never been tested, and that was that one big worry because they're pricey and the shipping on them is outrageous. So it was definitely a worry, but they all passed.
Great.
And they're certified for the year. We already talked about the engine 41 issues, hoping to get that back. Once we get that engine back, we'll be sending our next engine out to get pump tested, NFPA inspected, and then the annual maintenance done, the oil changes and all that. So when it comes back, it'll be 100%. And then we'll go from there. And then the ladder truck, the lovely ladder truck, the ladder truck that could. We sent it off when Chief Robeson was here. He had it sent off to Oregon Apparatus. We had the Osprey and the tree a couple months back. I don't know if anybody remembered hearing about that on Facebook. And we took our ladder truck out there to try to rescue the bird out of the tree. our ladder truck would not work. So at that point, we took the organ apparatus. It's been a constant issue, I guess, from the past, from what I've been told. They were able to get some of the things fixed once we got the ladder truck back from organ apparatus, with them telling us that it's 100%. We took it out in the back parking lot and to run it through its tests, get some stick time on it, get people familiar with it. And it did the exact same thing.
Oh, gosh,
So we had to do an emergency override on it to get it to go back to bed, so where we could get it put away in the bay. It has some electrical gremlins that have been ongoing with this truck. So I'm having the talks with organ apparatus to figure out what they're gonna agree to, because we paid them a lot of money to fix the truck, and they said it was fixed, and it's not fixed. So, and the mayor's shaking his head because it's been an ongoing problem with this truck.
And we've got to hold them accountable somehow. Because if you're gonna tell us it's fixed, people's lives are depending upon that thing to work.
Yes, and the problem with it is that it's twofold. So the actual ladder part is fixed and working. The problem is all the electrical gremlins that are within that truck that have been fixed by other people over time. And that's their big problem, is that there's really no documentation of what's been done. At no fault to anybody, just there was no documentation. So them trying to get in there and figure out, it's opening it that hornet's nest, right? So
even all the times we sent it back to them, they didn't keep records?
they have records, but the prior maintenance officer did some stuff, and like there's always just that.
But at least they have their record.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. They have.
Said no one, Ryan. I was really concerned.
My apologies. No, they have their records.
Okay.
And they're stumped just like we are. So, but I got pretty firm with them because I was pretty upset when we got it back, and then the same thing happened. And I'm just like, we just spent thousands and thousands of dollars on this. And it's not reliable, like the mayor said, we don't have a reliable ladder truck. And for our city, that's unfortunate. So we're looking at the options on what to do next to try to figure that aspect out. The engine is more important to me at this point because it will do what it needs to do. So getting that fixed and then trying to figure out what to do with the ladder truck next.
Any questions for Ryan?
How many levels, if you talked about your volunteers completed level 1, how many other levels are there?
So they completed, so they did the Fire One Academy. So that's the most basic of the basics. That's where they learn how to put the equipment on and all that. They can go up to Firefighter 2 next. And that's usually after gaining some experience, going on some calls.
Okay.
And then after that, there's different specialty levels that they can transition into. Which we offer almost most of them, anything that anybody wants to do, our lovely training officer, Captain Bresic, will put anybody through anything they want to go through.
Okay.
They just have to have the willingness. And we have a great group of folks that are at the station and responding right now, and they're eager. So it's nice to see.
Thank you, Ryan.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chief Pace.
Nothing really new to state. Ryan Gahn, our officer in the academy, getting back this next week. People while they're on Thanksgiving break, so we'll see out right at the tail end.
Good.
We got a new car. Hopefully it'll be ready by the end of the week. We'll probably get it next week, hopefully.
Finally.
Very early Christmas.
Okay, we can either call it early Christmas or what, late Memorial Day? Weren't we supposed to have that thing in the spring?
Yeah, we're supposed to have in September. But other than that, same.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions for Chief? All right. Mike?
Mayor, councilors, just to give you an update on where, spent, some time today working, looking at FEMA stuff and, discussing it with Arlene and Justin. So kind of nutshell where we're at, December 1st is kind of the deadline to notify FEMA where how the city's gonna respond, basically what option to select. I think it's best, I've got Arlene essentially has the list that she needs, has identified the property list, and is working on a draft Measure 56 notice that I'm gonna tweak to include any of the three options that are the pick'ems. You'll see a hearing on December 18th, the three options. You'll probably see a resolution, much like the council action request that I did last time. And locally, we have, December 1st is kind of the deadline where if we haven't elected one, so it will be a case by case basis by default. But at this point, the applications that we've received that we're working are 412 Industrial Parkway is an office building. The permit was for the office only. They're framing the building now, and we have a preliminary elevation certificate. A fill permit was submitted to predominantly for the office building footprint area, and other plans have been shared with the city, but no other permit has been submitted, which kind of brings up my point that I did last time, much with the land use, any land use application, if you know you're going to do work in the near future in the floodplain, you're better off submitting an application even if it's incomplete prior to December 1st. Georgia Pacific submitted a guard shack. It's going to be elevated and it's been routed to the county. Rutherfords have done a permit for single building and a fill permit submitted, but we need more details, which is okay. And we're gonna, it's even if it's incomplete, it's when you submit it, that's the key date that we're looking at. They've submitted another fill application for buildings 2 to 5. They need to submit a 1200C permit to DEQ. This will require a land use compatibility sign off from the city. This will come to the city sometime in 2025. I think that's fine. We can relate the application back. It's like today or yesterday in a floodplain Zoom conversation. The term shell application was used by folks from other cities, and I mean, it's kind of like when you commit the crime, it's the law that's in effect at that time. Does that make sense? So when you submit the application, when right now where you can do fill after December 1st, where you're not going to be able to do fill, and then most importantly, we're have our lien started. Justin started. I asked him to start working on an application for a floodplain permit and a building permit for the memorial field bathroom. And so the December 1st is approaching fast and falls on a Sunday after a holiday. Really November 27th is the last work day. But I guess that's kind of the FEMA update. The our last interviews should happen Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So, and that's really all I have.
Any questions for Mike?
Question. You're talking about, the FEMA things. FEMA's in the news quite a bit. Is your feeling that they are not gonna be dismantled and this is just, a bunch of hogwash, what they're trying to pull here?
I haven't been watching the news, counselor. If
FEMA's in hot trouble.
It's gonna take time
Yeah.
before,
Oh,
even
yes,
if
it
they do.
is.
things
Yeah.
won't
That's what I
happen.
mean, but seems like they're overreaching and underreaching and everything else. They're in the hot seat right now.
Well, I think that at least in this case, they've been sued by some environmental agency entities, and so rather than, they've agreed we're gonna collaborate with them, Sonoa, under the Endangered Species Act. It's taken a whole lot of years. They said in a court filing in 2018 that they would make it through the NEPA, their environmental impact statement would get approved before they pushed it down to the cities and counties. Now they've been sued again, and they're having us do these pick'em
PICM, not pick'em as in lottery.
Yeah, PICM, pre-implementation,
Compliance measure.
compliance measures that really aren't part of the federal law. Right now, and they're kind of doing it on a real loosey-goosey nexus with, they have no land use authority. They
That's
just
what I mean.
implement
I don't even know who these people are
they
really
just implement
answering to.
the National Flood Insurance Program, but then this loosey-goosey relationship with the LCD, who has land use authority over cities and counties.
And who has authority over them and who, why they would have authority over us and all that stuff. It seems like it's a big mess.
Well,
That's 'cause
Yes,
it is.
and but if they do come after us and they pull up and they say, oh, well, we're not gonna do your floodplain insurance.
yeah,
Yes.
I mean, that's,
But if they, yeah.
That's the risk.
But we're entering it, I guess, into the lawsuit with other agencies, correct?
Yes,
the council, made a decision.
yes, we authorize that.
They did authorize the $5,000.
And we did confirm that if we pass the resolution on which way we're gonna go, we're not
Yeah,
acceding to their crazy demands.
no, I don't think,
It won't hurt us.
I'm gonna write it so that we're not,
Okay,
I don't think we will harm ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just us, but it's all up and down the coast. And
all
we're-
up and down the Columbia.
Yes,
Yeah.
And we're sort of the test states,
Yep.
because then they're gonna go down to California and that's gonna be even bigger.
Mhm.
So this could all go away real fast, as it should.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Mike?
Yeah, so that's kind of FEMA in a nutshell.
And I'll touch on a couple more things in my mayor's comments, so. Anything else for Mike? Okay,
No.
Amanda.
Council, first, I want to thank you all for coming Friday to that training. I apologize for not being able to be here in person, but I did get to join on Zoom, so I got to observe. I hope it was helpful. Good for you guys to meet one of our attorneys from CIS. She works with the city very frequently. And I wanted all of you, first of all, to get that information, but also to know that CIS is available to the council as well. If you have questions during this time, or any time, if you are ever unsure about, requests coming in from the public, staff actions, council actions, if you're out of your lane, taking an action, if you have concerns, please call them. That's what they're there for. They are a resource. We pay for their services. and we should utilize them. We do Mike and I do frequently. So I will email all of you Tamara's contact information, so you can reach out to her as well as their risk management department. So at any time, if you have questions, you can reach out individually and have a confidential conversation if needed to, or just with any general question you may have. So want to make sure you have that available. That being said, there's been a lot going on. Several things to update you. First, I know we had talked. Gosh, it's a blur. I apologize. I can't remember if it was last week or the week before our last executive session. We didn't need to do one tonight. I'm not going to have another executive session for you until we have another employment matter to discuss. I have been working actively with Chief Pace and other agencies on our dispatch staffing situation that we're trying to solve. We are working actively with 2 agencies right now who are getting information and estimates to us. We also worked with OEM, Oregon Emergency Management, the state level, who were able to provide additional resources. And we've gotten information about other agencies that can give us more estimates and possibly provide support. So I'm working to gather all of that, and I will bring it to council in an open meeting to do a presentation and give you more complete information. And I don't want to bring it to you piecemealed. I'm going to gather everything and then give you a good update when we have that ready.
And when are you thinking that'll be?
I'm hoping soon. It'll be dependent upon how fast these other agencies can get some information back to me. So it might be the December. I'm guessing with the holiday coming up,
Yeah.
but we'll shoot for the first weekend, the first meeting in December. It would be the 18th at the latest if I don't get what I need.
Okay.
We do have an update on the ongoing court case for a former employee, which I terminated beginning of the year for theft. This can has been getting kicked down the road all year, one excuse after another as to why they need more time to discuss various issues. This employee was offered a plea deal and declined to take it, so we are going to trial for the criminal charges. So tentatively, those dates are set for April. So.
Jury duties.
That's. Oh, big party.
I do feel very good about the city's position. We have a mountain of evidence as to the actions committed by this employee. Very confident in this. Yeah. So that's moving forward. I'm disappointed that it's taken so long to get to this point, but I'm glad that we're finally reaching a resolution. We have, if council remembers, a couple months back, I had reported that we were working on getting up to date with our unclaimed property reporting to the Oregon State Treasury. That's all of those uncashed checks that we have that nobody's cashed, can't get a hold of these people. They're required by law to be turned over to the state every year. We did file, so we are current this year. That was reported in October. And we've been working with that agency, and they recommended that as soon as we completed this year's reporting, that we enter into a voluntary disclosure agreement so that we can get caught up, because previous staff stopped reporting in 2011. I can't explain why, but they did. We had been, and it just stopped. So my department is actively working to get us caught up for that time period that was missed. So I've just signed that agreement, and we are working on that.
Did you say 2011?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I said. I just wanted to make sure I heard that.
Yeah. So we're getting all that information compiled, cleaned up, so we can remit those things to the state to be turned over to the rightful owners.
Didn't you say before too that they were offering us no, like a fee or anything like that for not reporting?
That's one of the benefits of entering into this. So if you come forward and self-report, hey, we haven't been compliant, but we're trying to get compliant, you can sign this agreement and they won't penalize you. There's no penalties, no interest. They will work with you to get caught up on your reporting, to turn over what should have been reported each year.
Good.
And so moving forward, we will have.
Thank you for cleaning this.
Yes.
Any other
Just have the
good
broom out. Yes.
So check under your name. There might be a check there.
Yeah, if anyone's curious, and every state has their own program, all 50 states, anywhere you've ever lived. Each state is managed differently. So you'll have to go to each state's website and figure out where they do it. But if you Google like Oregon unclaimed property, it'll take you here to the Oregon State Treasury's website. You could put in your personal information and find out if you have any old uncashed checks in your name out there. So.
We did it.
Yeah,
Wife got $500 back.
yeah. It could be deposits on accounts you forgot about, payroll things that weren't cashed, all kinds of things. So it's worth checking. We do have more good news. We've been working hard. I know we haven't had a lot brought into the council packets because of everything going on, but we are actively working, I promise. Trying to get caught up. So we have also activated our account. I will say we did have Lexapool for our police department, but it had never been started at fire. We have been working with our representative and we have combined into one agency account for all of City of Toledo, so we can get Lexapool's typically used for first responders. It has all of those federal policies that govern police, fire, and all of the specialty rules and regulations that they are required to follow. It's a very good tool. It's regularly automatically updated. It has electronic user acknowledgement, so all of our users can have a login, and when there's a change to a policy or a law, they get a notification that they have to go out and review. They have to sign and acknowledge that they've read it, so we can hold them to it. And then we have that electronic documentation that our employees are up to date.
And we have that for the city too, right?
We do, we've just signed that, yes,
that
so
sounds
it's,
really
and we're
cool.
combining all into one account, so before it was separate. And I want everybody to be on the same account so we can centralize our main employee handbook policies.
And it's less money that way.
It is, it's less money, and then it's all in one place, so it's not piecemeal between departments.
Get a hold of the National League of Cities. I know somewhere Doug has that, because I gave him all that information. Because if we join NLC, we get a discount.
NLC?
Yeah.
I'll look into that.
So we might be able to get it even cheaper.
Okay. And it was pretty low as it was, it's pretty.
Well, from what I remember from the spring conference that I went to back in DC, Lexapool essentially will take a third off.
I was gonna say it wasn't like a third.
It's like a third off
Okay.
if you're a member of the National League of Cities. And as of this year, the League of Oregon Cities is not covering everybody in the state like they used to. For really good reasons. Let's just say that at the National League of Cities, they count a small city as 50,000 or under. So most of Oregon cities don't even qualify as a medium city.
Oh, it's not.
So their ability to, for lack of a better word, help was greatly diminished. However, if you join NLC as a city, it's prorated to our size, and even with the dues, it works out to be about a third less.
Okay.
So check into that. Anything else?
All right, yeah. So we did have 2 grants that were awarded to the city of Toledo, one for the fire department and one for the library from Georgia Pacific. Andrea wants to do a check presentation. We've been going back and forth. Unfortunately, she has conflicts with all of our council meeting dates through December. So we have decided she wants to do a check presentation. So we're gonna do that this Friday at 11 a.m. at the library. So if anyone is available, would like to be there, Andrea is going to be presenting a check to our staff for those 2 grants that they awarded us.
What time?
11 a.m. at the library on Friday.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Anything else? Before I
We
open
did
it up to these great folks for
Right.
questions.
One more, and I know, I think Rod, you were copied on this email. We did get an update, and this is just preliminary. It sounds like it's still a ways out. But this did come in to Doug's email that our Toledo Public Safety Building outfit for $1 million was included in the Homeland Appropriations bill that was just released.
Yep.
They said at this time, don't expect the bill to gain traction right now, but this does mean that our project has proceeded to the next part of the appropriations process.
Yes, that was gonna be one of my comments, but,
So Rod can
Thank
speak
you.
to that more. But,
well, no, that was just.
okay, is that all you
we're-
got?
We've got past the committee stage.
Yeah, we-
Now it's a matter of what happens when, because they're gonna have to do what's known as an omnibus bill here to keep the government running. And so we'll see how if it makes it into that or not. So,
It's still not a done deal, but we've made it through phase one essentially. So nothing to sneeze at. Other than that, I am working, I've gotten behind in my finance work, everything else going on.
And
Yeah, so I did want to let council know that I will be getting caught up on that as soon as I'm able, and I will get budgetary information to council soon. I realize it's been a while. I was delayed with the system conversion as it was. And our departments heads have had to be patient with me as well, as I've been delayed in getting them stuff they're needing. We're having to shoot it to them. We just got them access into the system themselves. So I'll be getting that done and we'll get you a budget update soon.
any questions?
Besides how to clone Amanda, so we can have 3 of her.
I would like more, if that's possible.
Thank you for
Probably
all your
could
hard work.
clone her, but it would be against so many rules and
You know, it
regulations.
costs,
Actually, it's not expensive.
not anymore?
No,
No.
what I understand, they can keep doing what was her name, Lucy the sheep, like. You can do it.
Dolly. Wasn't it Dolly?
Dolly, yes, thank you, Dolly.
Yes.
Anyway, stupid esoteric things I read. Council comments, start with Councilor Kaufman.
Nothing here.
Sue?
Oh, I attended another city council meeting at another place in town, not in this town, a different town. And told them about our ethics meeting and gave them the name and they knew the person, so hopefully they'll have their own ethics meeting and such on there. They seem to need it.
Very ethical of you.
Oh, yeah, but the other thing is just reminding everybody, I think it's the November 30th is the tree lighting.
Yes,
Oh, and the.
it's the lighted umbrella, it's the lighted
Yes.
umbrella parade and then the tree lighting.
And I heard the mayor was gonna sing a Christmas carol.
Yeah.
I can do that if you really want me to.
Okay.
That's it. Frank?
I went to the League of Oregon City Small Cities meeting today in Walport. Wasn't very many people there. We are set to hold the next one here, May 21st in Toledo.
You mean March?
No, May,
May?
yeah.
It's every 3 months.
Was it a different M?
Maybe I wrote it down wrong.
It's either March.
Yeah, it's May. Because the next meeting is February 19th in Florence.
Okay, yeah.
That's the president's meeting, so it's different than the small cities thing.
No, it's the president's meeting is still the small
Oh,
city
is it
meeting,
still part
just
of
that
it?
the president's there.
Oh, the lady said something different.
Yeah.
at the meeting today.
That's okay.
I brought up
I'm on the board.
Chief
I'll
Pace
figure it
about
out.
the Officer Sumter and all the other cities are wanting to know when the date is so they can come and show out as well. So as soon as you get a date, if you could let me know, I'll email all the counselors in the different cities around.
Should know by the end of the week.
And Amanda didn't say anything, but I don't know if anybody's got this in the email. It's a new app for Express Pay, so you can just log onto the app and pay your water bill. You don't have to log on to the city anymore to go through all that rigmarole. It's free to download. You just log in with your normal login credentials and you hit pay and it's done.
It's in the newsletter.
It's very easy. Yep. Sorry, I almost forgot about
I
that.
found that in the mailbox today. Really good tool for everybody.
We have a lot of great new tools available to all of our citizens with this conversion.
Yeah.
I'm very pleased, and they offer customer support, so it's not reliant on our staff, which is a huge boon to us.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it for me.
Jackie?
Nope.
Council President Bush.
I don't think I have anything.
Well, you're free on Friday though. Does
I
that mean you have a
am.
day off?
Yeah, I worked all this week, so I'll be working tomorrow and I'll be off Friday, yeah. I may be filling perfume bottles on Friday though, so I might work some, but.
Do we need to put out a notice for possible forum?
This month's art lesson is
Maybe.
perfume, composition, yeah, and art composition and music composition. It's pretty fun.
Lisa,
Sorry, if Counselor Bush is done.
I'm done.
Director Baker is online.
he hung around.
I did.
Well, Harrison, go for it.
Yeah, I just wanted to run down some things we've got going on. Interim manager mentioned that we have the check presentation happening on Friday at 11, which we're very grateful for. You'll have a chance to see our new mural in progress. Julie Chapman Painting, is doing a mural in our children's area, and she's been doing that. She's got that coming up the next weekend or so. She's going to be finishing that up, but it's already looking really good. Of course, Saturday, November 30th, we have our umbrella parade, which leads to the Christmas tree lighting, which leads to the party at the Elks. The first meeting of our cookbook club is at 4 p.m. on December 7th. If you want to come by the library, you can sign up, pick a recipe out of the cookbook we have on display, and take that to the meeting. We've got Holla D&D coming up Friday 12/13 and Saturday 12/14 at 4 p.m. These are one-shot D&D campaigns, no experience necessary. It's one adventure, one session, and our DM will get you up and running. Saturday, December 14th, we have a family holiday art workshop with Larry Adrian and Dina Kirk of the Oregon Coast Children's Theater and Center for the Arts. And Saturday, December 21st, we have from 1 to 2:30 p.m., we're celebrating the season with the Seashore Literacy Ukulele Group, otherwise known as the Slugs, a special story time, and a visit from Santa Claus himself. And that's what I got.
Any questions for Harrison?
When was the holiday D&D again?
13th and 14th.
Yeah, so you pick one session.
4 to 10.
Thank you, Council.
Oh, thank you, Harrison. I didn't know you were still on because all we see is ourselves on the screen. So.
Oh yeah, I'm here.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, well, I will start with my favorite now 4-letter explicative, FEMA. So as I think I passed on to you all that the governor and the state of Oregon sent FEMA a letter back in the early part of September. Well, on November 14th, FEMA responded. And I'll just read you some parts of the response.
It's gonna be great.
We acknowledge these deadlines may be challenging for some communities, and we want to emphasize that FEMA is committed to working together in good faith as a partner with communities to ensure compliance with the Endangered Species Act, including providing technical assistance where needed. Our goal will be to ensure success in meeting the requirements. Is that why they never sat down with DLCD until July? Because they wanted to work together. Just saying.
I hear a lot of words. Yeah.
As a reminder, communities are expected to choose one of those 3 pick-up options by December 1st, 2024. Prohibit all new development in the floodplain, incorporate the Endangered Species Act into local floodplain ordinances, or require permit by permit floodplain habitat assessments. Now, I don't know about you, but when you're not complying with your own rules, which means that all of this needed to have gone through Congress, it didn't. Okay, Congress has to sign off on all of this new stuff. Okay. It doesn't comply with even their own internal rules because they are not the agency that is to enforce the Endangered Species Act. That is not their job. So they've overstepped there. And the, how do I say this? The college courses I had on the Constitution says they're in violation of the 14th Amendment because they're doing it strictly to the state of Oregon and not to anyone else who's affected by the Endangered Species Act, of which they were sued over. So therefore, in my non-bar legal opinion is that they're in violation of the Constitution. They just never cease to stop amazing me. Now, although, here's the best one. This was the letter that is being responded to is by the governor of the state of Oregon. Guess who responded to her?
The deputy.
And Eric J. Lettvin, who is the Deputy Assistant Administrator for the Hazard Mitigation Directorate of FEMA Resilience. He's about 18th down the food chain in that department. That shows how seriously they're taking this stuff. They won't even have their director talk to our governor. They send a flunky to do the job. Yep, FEMA is my newest four-letter word, and I'm sticking to it. Now I'm going to go to good news. Good news, number one, okay, and I'll hand these out to y'all. You're not busy next Tuesday night. Y'all need to show up at Toledo High School gym. You know,
Thank you.
for the annual dessert auction. For those of you that like desserts and don't like to cook, this is a great place to get them. It goes for a good cause. It supports our basketball programs, both the girls and the boys programs.
Weren't we supposed to do a cheesecake cook-off for that?
Well, I was gonna ask you, are you still, I'm doing my key lime. What else are we doing?
Figure it out. I'm making one for my wife this Friday, but I'll figure one out for that, definitely.
Okay, so let me know what it is. So I'll just do my version of whatever it is you choose.
Okay.
So you just let me know.
That'll work.
Okay, and as the auctioneer, I will let you all know that we're there to raise money. So come with a good sized wallet and be ready to help these kids out. So, yes.
You're actually gonna hold up cupcakes and.
Oh, yeah.
So it isn't like we walk by and just put our.
Oh, no, this is no silent auction.
He's gonna berate people to make them pay more.
I do not berate anybody.
I find that hard.
I do not berate people. I look up in the stand and if it's how do I say this?
You've been to these before, right?
Yes, I was just figuring.
Let's just say that we'll take former Mayor Chambers, okay? If I know that his wife is sitting next to him and her eyes lit up with whatever it was we have up for auction, and she's not winning the bid, I'm gonna look at former Mayor Chambers and say, are you really gonna let this go for $5 when your wife obviously wants it so badly? I don't berate anybody. I guilt them. There's a difference.
I knew there was something going on.
No, actually, it goes pretty quickly. Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah,
I think
we're in and out in about an hour.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we don't procrastinate it out for longer.
Okay.
So that's just a baked goods dessert?
Yeah, baked goods,
Fundraising for basketball.
people like myself and others, we make our own stuff, but like Buttercream Bakery donates stuff to it. All kinds of people, they bring in chalet pies, they do all kinds of things, yeah. And tomorrow night at the high school, the music and choir are having their winter concert at 7 p.m. tomorrow night. It's free. It's up at the high school in the cafeteria / auditorium. Come. Our kids are getting better. It's good to see music and choir back in the school and doing these events. It brings back really good memories for me.
What about turkey bingo?
Oh, God, you're right. And then there's turkey bingo Friday night from, I want to say, is it 5:30? I want to say it's 5:30 to 8:30 or 9 o'clock.
Where?
At the elementary school. If you want a parking spot anywhere near the building, get there between 5 and 5:30.
I'll tell you time.
If you're like me, you're gonna end up parking either down by the softball field or over in front of the school and walking through the rain and whatever else to get there. Because I usually can't get there until 6 o'clock or so because of other stuff.
Turkey bingo.
Turkey bingo.
Bring your billfold, there's an silent auction.
Okay, there's silent auction with a lot of really good stuff. The bingo, you can win a turkey. Okay, but they have all sorts of prizes that they give out to the winners. And the bingo lasts for almost 2 hours.
And you said it starts at 6.
I want to say it starts 5:30 to,
I don't know, she didn't release the time on these
I didn't
things. It just
see
says
anything
November
on this.
22nd.
okay, approximately 5:30 to 8:30 at the elementary school. You know, I was writing my December newsletter today, and one thing about this community that is being, I hate to say this, but we're being mimicked now by people who have come and worked in this community and then have moved on to other communities. They're stealing all of our stuff. So there's a coach that used to coach here. And now at his new school, he's doing the dessert auctions. Other communities have picked up the turkey bingo thing, and it's been that, I think we have started a lot of trends in schools around the state. But that's our community, that's who we are, and it's why we fell in love with this place 28 years ago and haven't stopped. And I hope you all enjoy your holiday coming up. This is my favorite holiday of the year, is Thanksgiving. Because there's a lot to be thankful for every year. One year for me, it was, I'll be blunt, it was just being alive. And another year it was being able to walk again. So I'm sure you all can find something to be thankful for, and please take the day to notice that and not the fact that Christmas stuff was put up on Labor Day.
Right.
You know, be thankful. That's all I got for tonight. With that, we're adjourned.
Bingo, which